Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this here channel. How the heck are you? Here on ETCG1 we talk about stuff. We don't do repair videos, but if you're looking for repair videos, I'll post the link in the description to my Eric the Car Guy channel. You can go there and, well, watch repair videos. However, if you would like to stick around and join in the conversation, I welcome you to do so. Today's topic, opinions are like, how do I put this? Exterior or posterior orifices would be a polite way of saying it. Everybody's got one. And what I'm speaking to specifically in this is in the auto repair business, or just in auto repair in general. I don't care if you work on cars for a living or you just like to work on them on the weekends in your backyard, garage, what have you, driveway, parking lot of the apartment complex. I've done it. You know, you tend to develop opinions about the things that you do, perhaps the parts that you use, perhaps the vehicles that you're driving, and sometimes those opinions can get very heated. And I also think sometimes those opinions can actually inhibit growth. And what I mean when I say that is sometimes you can be so strong in your beliefs that you refuse to see any other way. You're completely and totally 100% insistent that you're correct, you're right, you know what you're talking about. And then somebody comes along and suggests something that's possibly different. And that sort of messes up your chi, so to speak. And then you might become defensive, and you know, there might be an argument that might ensue. I've actually seen such altercations turn into fisticuffs. You know, it's when you look at it objectively, it's kind of ridiculous. Is it really necessary? I think what happens to us is when somebody comes about and they have a differing opinion from what we have, you know, the first instinct is sort of bristle and get defensive. And I say this, I'm just throwing this out there, and I say this because I've been developing this sort of, I don't know, kung fu for a little while now because of what I do. I mean, as Eric the Car Guy, I am out there for all of you to see. One giant target painted on my forehead for people to come up and offer up their opinions on what it is I'm doing or not doing or should be doing or what have you. And I've just come to take it with a grain of salt. I realize, and I think about this, I think about the mindset of where this type of behavior comes from. I feel that, and at least in my case, that they have a need. And that need may be based on past experience. Maybe it's a safety concern. A perfect example is when I did the video where I took the two hammers and knocked them together to knock rotor screws loose on those type of rotors that are screwed to hubs. A lot of people came out and said, don't do that, you'll shatter the hammer and shards will go into your brain and you'll die. And you know, there was a lot of very strong opinions about that, and I'm not saying that they were wrong, but at the same time, in 20 years of smacking hammers together like that, I've never seen it happen, not only to myself, but the people around me. I can't necessarily say that they're wrong, but you also can't necessarily say that they're right. But for me, I remove myself from that situation. And I think, you know what, this person has very good reasons or very strong beliefs in this sense, and I'm just going to let them have that. And that's what I suggest. And I think these opinions come from those experiences, as I just mentioned. You have an experience either in the shop or while you're working on a car in your driveway or whatever, and you're like, oh, that sucked. Or maybe it takes you like a day or days to correct that mistake. But you made that mistake and you formed an opinion based on that mistake that you made, or maybe those parts that you used, or the way you went about that procedure. You know, there's just, I think those opinions are based on your experiences in many ways. But it's not just your experiences. I've also found that, like, say, a parental unit or a mentor, in a sense, may come about and project their opinions onto you. And as a result, you absorb those opinions and you take them on for yourself, and you say, well, so-and-so, who is my mentor, who I ultimately respect, they say to do this or not to do this, and that's that. That's how it's going to be. What I've found in my own experience is that I'm not always right. And sometimes the opinions that I had at one time, I no longer have now, or have modified, or something about those opinions has changed over time. And a lot of it is due to, like I said, there are a lot of you out there that are way smarter than me. And that's cool. I don't want to close myself off to those suggestions or those opinions. I want to leave myself open to them. Now, I may not agree with you, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that I have to feel threatened because I don't agree with you. I can agree to disagree. I can say, you know what, there are those experiences beyond my own that this person is bringing to the table, and I need to respect that. And that's what I've always tried to cultivate in both of my channels, is that there can be an open dialogue. I think it's much more productive to do that than to insist that you're right over and over again. If you feel that way, fine, feel that way, but you don't need to continue to try to twist somebody's arm to think the way you think. There comes a point where it's just counterproductive, and you just need to give up and just say, you know what, this person's not going to change, they're going to do what they're going to do, and that's that. But ultimately, I think it comes back to respect and just feelings of self-worth. And this could start a whole other discussion, but I think a lot of the times where you feel threatened, it's a personal threat. You make it personal, and I think you feel personally threatened by a situation because I don't know, maybe you're not so confident in those beliefs, or maybe there's other places in your life where you're not feeling so confident, and maybe auto repair or your opinions about auto repair are the one thing that you have, that you cling to, that you hold dear, and you defend it with everything you have. Trust me, I get it. And I know a lot about those feelings. So once again, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just trying to inject into the conversation that I take a certain approach in those situations where I'm dealing with somebody with very strong opinions, and that I try to have empathy. I try to put myself in their shoes and try to figure out why it is they're so insistent on the opinions that they have. I mean, why is it that this person is so insistent that they're right? And as I said, maybe there's some deep psychological need that they're trying to fulfill. And I think to myself, you know what, that's not on me, that's on them, so I try to walk away. And as I said, I've always tried to keep an open dialogue here on all these channels. And in fact, I even have a suggestion box over at my website, just so that you can make suggestions about what I'm doing or saying or what have you. And I also have links and descriptions to all the videos, definitely all the recent videos, to forum discussions about them. If you want to explore those things further. But my point is that opinions vary in intensity. And when you come across people with strong opinions, be careful in your words, and try to have empathy, and try to put yourself in their shoes. And if they're just being obstinate, if they're just arguing for the sake of arguing, try to see it for what it is, and don't let it get to you. You're not going to have to give up your opinions. You're not going to have to give up some of yourself in order to accept somebody else's way of thinking or doing things. I'm going to turn the discussion back to you. So, opinions. Have you run into people with strong opinions? Particularly when it comes to things involving auto repair. I don't care, like I said, if you're a technician, DIY, it doesn't matter. I'd love to hear from you. And as I said, there's a link in the description to a discussion about this video over on my website. But you know, just and how do you handle those situations? How do you handle those situations where you got somebody who's in your face and says that you're wrong or they're right or whatever they're trying to tell you? And how do you proceed? How do you handle those situations? I'd love to hear more about it. Hey, if you have automotive questions, I would ask that you head over to ericthecarguy.com. Welcome video there to tell you about the things that can help you with those auto repair issues. In addition to that, if you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. I post ETCG1 videos every Monday, so stop back and see me for the next video next Monday. Close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and watch those opinions, people. I'll see you next time.